Hey.
Hold on. They're not working?
Mic off.
No, it's on. It's on. There we go. Awesome. Okay, that works. All right, let's get started with this stream. I can't wait to go over this because, like, I just read the mutate mechanic. It's actually a whole lot better than I was expecting. Kinda nutty. Not gonna lie. Okay, so let's get started. I don't know how I want to start looking at this because I guess yeah, I guess we can start. We can take a look at first at the promo art type card or the alternate art type cards, because I think that's what a lot of people are excited about at first. Just take note that a lot of them are already the ones up here. It's just obviously it's alternate art up here. Okay, so we'll go over the alternate art first, and then we'll kind of go by category and take a look at those and stuff. So let's take a look at I'll just kind of open a tab for each of these. By the way, if you haven't seen some of these cards already, they're kind of nuts. And like, I'm here, look, what just happened here? Did it not load properly? Oh. I guess the site glitched out a little bit. Okay, gotcha. Alright, so first one, we have Broko's Apex of Forever. It's a 5 CMC creature for a 2 generic, a black, green, and a blue. Can you guys see this? Hold on, maybe I need to zoom in a bit. There we go. Ooh, how do I scroll side to side? Can I not? Okay. Let me adjust the camera then for you guys. There we go. Alright, so we have Broko's Apex of Forever. 2 generic, a black, green, and a blue. It's a legendary creature, Nightmare Beast Elemental. That's a lot of words right there. Has Mutate, which I'll go over in a second. Trample, and it says whenever you may cast Broko's Apex Forever from your graveyard using its Mutate ability. That's actually disgusting. And real quick, we'll go over in. Oh my god, is that the alternate? Okay. It actually says in reminder text what Mutate does, which you guys might have trouble seeing, but I'll read it out loud real quick right here. It says, if you cast this spell for its Mutate cost, put it over or under target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature on top, plus all abilities from under it. Kind of gross. So you basically, it in a way, it's almost like transforming into another creature, but you gain all of the abilities of all the creatures underneath it. That's disgusting. I can see this I mean, depending on what mutate creatures they have in this set, I have no doubt in my mind that this might be a absolutely broken mechanic, especially in Commander, okay? Because you can use it like for like any creature in the history of Magic. I can already imagine some sort of like infinite combo happening from just one creature infinite comboing with itself potentially. depending on what type of mutate creatures they come out with. So it's gonna be interesting seeing like imagine if a mutate creature comes out that says whenever you deal damage with this creature, draw a card. Okay, something like that, and then I mutate it onto Niv Mizzet the Firemind. Okay, in case you don't know what that is, let me pull that up real quick. Okay, Niv Mizzet the Firemind. Imagine if I mutate it onto Niv Mizzet the Firemind, where it says whenever I draw a card, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Quite literally, just from dealing, as soon as I deal damage with Niv Mizzet, or I draw a card, like the mutated Niv Mizzet will automatically combo with itself. Automatically. Gross. And like that's just one example. Who knows how many different examples that could be too. Absolutely gross. Okay, so you can mutate this guy from the grave. That's pretty good. Oh, by the way, it has a different mutate cost, which is 2 generic, a hybrid of blue or black, and 2 green. So next up of the alternate arts, we have Vadrock. Vadrock? I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced. Apex of Thunder. I actually like this just because of the fact I just made a Jeskai commander deck myself, so this fits perfectly. But it's for a blue, red, and white, so 3 CMC creature. Legendary creature, elemental dinosaur cat. A lot of keyword. It's a 3/3 creature. Has a mutate of 1 generic, a hybrid of white or blue, and also 2 reds. Its ability is that it has flying and first strike. Whenever this creature mutates, you may cast target non-creature card with CMC 3 or less from your grave without paying its mana cost. That's actually low-key really gross. Mainly because of the fact that, if you notice, it says you may cast it with 3 CMC or less from your grave without paying its mana cost, but does not state that it will exile what you cast. So you can actually reuse it. You can still keep whatever you cast in the grave. That's gross. Well, assuming it's like a spell, an instant or sorcery. Obviously, if it's in like an enchantment, artifact, or planeswalker, because we have 3 CMC planeswalkers now, cast them from the grave onto the field. Like this is actually really good, at least in Commander, I should say. But still, this will still see some decent play in my opinion in Standard, because there's still a lot of good Jeskai decks floating around. Kinda nutty. I'm actually low-key really excited for this card. I'm gonna try and pre-order this card if I can specifically. I'm actually curious what people's comments are. All these Mystic Teamer and now Jeskai dinosaurs make my just thought sad. Oof. Alright, next up. We have Zilortha, Strength Incarnate. It's God's. Oh wait, what? I don't know why it says a different name. Oh, what? It says Godzilla, King of the Monsters, but then it says Zilortha, Strength Incarnate underneath it. That doesn't make any sense to me. As there's this little weird box underneath it. But it's 3 generic, a red and a green, so a 5 CMC monster. Legendary dinosaur. Has trample. It's a 7/3 creature, and it says lethal damage dealt to creatures you control is determined by their power rather than their toughness. Interesting. So basically, you can treat their power as toughness. That's actually pretty good. That's actually really good for aggro decks, because there's a lot of aggro creature cards who are like, they'll have like 3 power but 1 toughness, and this is just in like Standard. It's not even counting the the different other formats too, like Commander. So we've seen a bunch of other cards where it would be like you can treat their toughness as their power too, and this is just the opposite. So this is actually gonna be really good, like ridiculously good for aggro decks. Because now not only are they like a 1 or 2 drop 3/1 creature, okay, but with this on the field, they're essentially turning to a low drop 4/4 on the field, or a 3/3. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see. Next up, except that, we have Luminous Broodmoth. 2 generic, a white and a white. So 4 mana CMC. It's an insect creature. 3/4. Has flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. Ooh. Now, I'm assuming that a flying counter gives it flying, but until they actually make that statement, technically I don't really know what a flying counter is or does, if that makes sense. But just from the context, I would assume that it gains flying, just because then otherwise it'll just infinite loop as long as Luminous Broodmoth is on the field. That just makes the most sense. Let me close this. So this is actually really good. Like, a lot of these cards are already looking really good for my Jeskai Commander deck. Like, I'm excited for this. So that was Luminous Broodmoth. Next up, so many cookies. We have Illuna, Apex of Wishes. Ooh, this is actually a teamer one too. So 5 CMC creature for 2 generic, a green, blue, and a red. It's a 6/6 creature, legendary creature, beast elemental dinosaur. Jesus Christ. Has a mutate for a cost of 6, 3 generic, a hybrid of red or green, and 2 blues. It has flying trample. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. That's actually really good too. Well, I'm here thinking from the aspect of like commander for the most part, but in standard, I'm not too sure how good this would be just because it costs 6 to mutate this guy. But you still have a 6/6 flying trample creature, which is still pretty good. Yeah, not sure. Oh, is this the alternate art? Oh, that's sick. What are people saying about this? First glance was super hyped for a Polypod commander and teamer. Second look, exiled cards never return. But if mutants can mutate off of this trigger, and you clear critical mass, you can lethal off. Oh, I guess that is worth noting, that it exiles cards. It's not like, I was here thinking that it was more like Cascade at first glance, where you kind of just keep looking until you hit a non-land card. I didn't realize that this exiles them, so I guess that is a caveat of that. Not really what you would want in Commander. Alright, so next up, we have Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt. It's a 4 CMC legendary dinosaur cat nightmare creature. It's a 3 power, 5 toughness. Costs 1 generic, a red, white, and black. So, I forgot what the name of this color combination is. I don't remember. But it has mutate for 5 mana, 2 generic, a hybrid of black or red, and 2 whites. It has double strike. Whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. Huh. I don't really see the mutate seeing much play. Just because it costs 5 CMC, that's kind of pricey. The double strike, I feel like if this is going to be used in standard, I feel like if this would be used in standard, it will be mainly because of the fact it's a 4-drop, 3/5 double strike creature. I feel like that would be the main reason. It's a little pricey to mutate just for 4 damage, if that makes sense, and gaining 4 life. Like I feel like there's not enough value, at least at first glance. Like if you're gonna mutate it, you're gonna pretty much put it underneath the creature, so that way the creature on top gains the double strike, and you also get to deal 4 and gain 4 life. So I don't know. I'm a little iffy about this in terms of standard. Commander, this is in Commander, this is, I feel like you're not getting enough value compared to the CMC of the mutate. Just because of the fact that 4 damage and 4 life isn't nearly as big of a deal in Commander compared to like other formats like Standard and stuff. The only thing that's actually worth noting is the double strike. You basically can put double strike on another creature permanently, essentially. That's kind of the only main value benefit from this card in Commander, I guess. At least at first glance. Next up, we have. Oh, did they not have the text for this yet on the side? Okay, well, we have Garuda, Doom of Depths. It's a 4 CMC legendary demon kraken creature, 6/6, for 4 generic and a hybrid of blue or black and a blue and black, so 2 hybrids. It has a new ability called Companion. Your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana cost. What? When Garuda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. I'm not sure how I feel about this, to be honest. This is an interesting creature. I mean, the main ability is okay, and it's a 6/6 for a 6 CMC creature. So it's like you're not really gaining or losing anything from it. It's just kind of a standard amount. The companion thing, though, I'm not a big fan of. I'm really not a big fan of that. It might work in a creature deck, but like you're playing blue-black. Like you're probably gonna have things like counter spells and whatnot, or some sort of like control thrown into the deck, and things like counter spells, for example, tend to be like 3 CMC, so you can't really run a standard counter spell in a deck that has Garuda. So I don't really feel like this is a good card, in my opinion. Alright, next up we have Void Beckoner. It is a 8-drop creature for 6 generic, a black and a black. It's a nightmare horror. 8 power, 8 toughness, has touch, has cycling for 2 generic and a black. When you cycle Void Beckoner, put a death touch counter on target creature you control. Okay, so again, I'm assuming the death touch counter gives a creature, well, death touch. That's what I'm assuming until they actually release the official info about what the heck this does. That's what I'm going to assume. So this is an uncommon. It doesn't really seem like that great of card. It's kind of there for the. I feel like this would be mostly used for the cycling, and that's it. Especially in Commander. Okay, next up we have. The picture is in a different language. Gemas the Destroyer. It's a 4-drop creature for 3 generic and a green. Has reach. I mean, my bad. It has a mutate for 3 CMC, 1 generic, a green, and a green. Has reach and trample. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls, and it's a 4/4 creature. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Let me turn on the music a little bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad, because then at the very least, for 3 mana, you can remove an artifact or enchantment, and you can give another creature reach or trample. That's actually pretty good. I can see this actually seeing a bit of play. That's actually pretty good. And then at base, you have a 4/4 creature with reach or trample too. So that's actually pretty good. Next up, we have Dorat, the perfect pet. This one, the art just kind of weirds me out a little bit. It's a 2 CMC fairy dragon creature for a blue and a red. You have a 1/1 creature with flying and haste, and it says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Sprite Dragon. I still don't understand why it has like a second name to it. Well, I actually like this, just because of the fact that most is it type cards tend to say whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery spell, get whatever value. Okay, get so and so value. This one says non-creature spell, so you can actually still benefit from your planeswalker casts, enchantment artifact casts. Like, so this is actually this is low-key really huge. And I can see, at least in standard, I can easily see this starting to become like an easy like staple card in some is it based decks or just guide teamer decks and stuff. Heck, even just is it based decks in general. I can see this being a nice staple at this point. Yeah, I'm just like reading the comments at the moment. Forget how amazing and probably busted this card is. That thing is way too adorable to be legal in any format. Okay, that's not what I was expecting that to be, but this is actually really good. It's really good. I'm definitely gonna probably have this thrown into my commander deck for sure. That's what I'm gonna say, just because of the fact I cannot begin to tell you how hard it is to find is it based colored cards that care about non-creature spells in general and not just instant and sorceries. So the fact that this says non-creature spell, this is actually going to be really good, because this will get huge fast. Okay, especially since like is it based decks tend to be more non-creature oriented anyways, and they only have like a handful of creatures in the deck. Period. This can be busted. I can see this getting huge fast. And it's definitely going to probably be one of those cards that like will come out turn 2, at least in standard, will come out in like turn 2, and the opponent will be forced into a decision of killing it right away before it gets huge, essentially. That type of thing. Kind of like how you have with the Kin Steam Vents or whatever it's called, the 2-drop red creature that whenever you cast a red spell, it gets a 1/1 counter, up to 3 counters. It's that type of thing where you have to kill it early before it gets huge. What's up, Esteban? I feel like the same type of situation is going to happen with Dorat over here, where you're going to have to kill it while it's still small before it gets huge, because this has the potential to get huge way faster compared to the Steamkin, whatever it's called, card. All right, so that was all of the alternate art cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Yeah, all the alternate art cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at the different categories now. Let's take a look at the Planeswalkers, see what we've got. We got 2 new Planeswalkers, apparently. All right, what is this? We have Vivien, Monsters Advocate. It's a 5-drop Planeswalker, comes at a 3 loyalty. So for 3 generic, a green and a green. Let's see. It has a passive ability that says you may look at the top card of your library anytime, as well as you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. That's actually really busted. any type of card that lets you look at the top card of your library and cast the top card of your library is always really good. Okay, it basically has like a future sight effect, but better. Future sight just I believe is future. I want to say future sight's the card that lets you look at the top card and cast any card that's on top of your deck. And then since then, there's just been a lot of variations of that for each color. So like green obviously had Vivien's now a green version of that, where you can just cast the creatures on top. And then like for example in Commander, there's Elsha of the Infinite, which lets you cast non-creature spells from the top of your deck. Hold on, let me look up Elsha real quick. Elsha of the Infinite. There we go. Elsha of the Infinite, where she lets you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast the top card of your library if it's a non-creature, non-land card. And you cast those that have flash. Like they're just basically making like different iterations of future sight at this point. Like that passive already. I guess this is the alternate. That passive already is pretty nutty. Pretty like really broke. Especially if you have like a Nissa on the field that doubles your forest mana. Like Jesus. Like, and then you get Vivien on the field too. You just go nuts casting stuff from the top of your deck. Anyways, the +1 loyalty ability creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Put your choice of a vigilance counter, a reach counter, or a trample counter on it. That's actually pretty good. That's pretty versatile. -2 loyalty ability. When you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with CMC less than that. Put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. That's busted. That's actually really nutty. You basically get two creatures for the price of one. That's gross. That's really gross. So I'm assuming like assuming let's say you played the Vivien on like turn 5, you would +1 her, okay, to get the 3/3 beast with your choice of vigilance, reach, or trample on it. Okay, and then the next turn 6, you would -2 cast a big creature, like one of your biggest creatures in your hand, and then while the creature's on the stack, you can you can tutor out another creature from your deck. That's nuts. That's gross. And slap it on the field too. That's the gross part. That you slap it on the field. It doesn't even go to your hand. It just comes straight to the field. That's nuts. All right, next up we have Luca, Coppercoat Outcast, for 3 generic and 2 reds. It comes in at 5 loyalty. The +1 ability says exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled this way gain. You may cast from exile as long as you control a Luca Planeswalker. Huh. Interesting. I don't know how. Yeah. I think I need to look at the other abilities for it before I determine how good Luca is. -2, exile target creature you control, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with a higher CMC cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Oh. That's actually really good. Yeah, that's actually really good. Because let's just take standard into the equation right now, okay? You have this guy on the field. You -2 a creature on your field that's like 3 CMC, okay? Like 2 or 3 CMC. Then you basically are just fishing off the top of your deck until you reach something that's like at least like 4, like about 4 CMC or higher. Okay, that can actually be pretty good. Granted, I feel like the bigger picture is going to be then. I don't think this is going to be a card that's going to be played in standard though, just because mono red decks in general tend to be very low to the ground cards in the first place. So if you're throwing a lot of higher CMC cards, you're probably not doing a good job in a mono red deck. In standard, I feel like this is gonna be more of a commander-esque type planeswalker, if that makes sense. Doesn't really feel like it fits standard. -7 ability, each creature control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. That's actually really gross. Potentially gross. That, like, the -7 alone already has the potential to kill everybody at the table easily. Like, if you're playing a creature-based deck and you -7 Luca over here, you have the potential to just kill everybody at the table. Easily. And again, this is I feel like this is definitely more suited for Commander. I don't really see this being played in Standard. Alright, so those were the Planeswalkers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next category, the lands. I don't think they've shown any lands yet. Yeah, they haven't spoiled lands yet. So artifacts, any artifacts? Nope, no artifacts yet. Any enchantments? We got one enchantment. Oh, pacifism just makes a return. It just makes a return. It's just a reprint. Any sorceries? No spoilers for sorceries yet. Instants. We got one instant, fully grown. I guess we'll blow it up a little bit here. Fully grown. It is a green instant for 2 generic and a green. Target creature gets +3/+3 to end turn. Put a trample counter on it. The trample counter is nice. I mean, it's just a pump spell. It's just a cantrip. So I don't think this is going to see play. But if it does see play, it's almost going to be exclusive for the trample counter. That's the only thing I can see this card being used for, is for the trample counter. And the plus and the pump just kind of being a extra benefit. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the creatures. And there's a crap ton of creatures. Maybe let's do this a little differently. Let's go by color, I guess. We'll look at the multicolored ones. I think we looked at all of the multicolored ones already. Yeah, we did. Oh no, we didn't. There's a few we didn't get to see. Okay, so we saw Godzilla King of the Monsters already. We saw this one. We saw this one. This one. Okay, so we just saw we saw Dorat. We saw Umor. No, we haven't seen Umor. But we saw Dorat. We saw Gyruda. So Lutri, Keruga, and Umori are the 3 we have not seen yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so this is a color. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what this is. Lutri the Spell Chaser. It is a 3 CMC legendary elemental otter. Would never think I would hear those words before. It's a 3 power, 2 toughness. It costs 1 generic and a hybrid of blue or red twice. Okay. Super Band Otter is OP. What's up, Wildman? Haven't seen what it has companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. Oh, that is perfect for Commander. This is straight up a Commander card automatically. Like, I don't think this card would work. Yeah, I don't think this card can work in Standard, period. This is straight up a Commander card. Has Flash too. When Lutri the Spell Chaser enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for. Yeah, okay, so that's actually not too bad. That's not too bad. It's there is a mono red version of this card. Yeah, it's basically nothing new for the Commander scene. There's a mono red dude that does the same exact thing. I'm trying to remember what it is. Dual Caster Mage. I think it's Dual Caster Mage. Yeah, It's basically dual caster mage, just Izzet colors. Because it does the exact same thing. The only difference is that dual caster mage is a 2/2 instead of a 3/2 creature. But otherwise, it does the exact same thing. The only difference here is that Lotri has the companion stipulation, which doesn't matter in Commander because you can only have one copy of each card anyways. And one copy of each non-basic card anyway, so. It was auto-banned in Commander. Wait, what do you mean auto-banned in Commander? How is Lutri auto-banned in Commander? There's nothing special about it. Oh, I see. I didn't realize that the companion. Okay. So it says if this card is your chosen companion, you may cast it once from outside the game. I didn't realize that was how the companion worked. I thought companion meant like you had to have that from, like the card is inside your deck. And the rest of your deck had to fit that stipulation. That's actually low-key busted then. The rule committee said no. Gotcha. Okay. Holy shit! I didn't realize that that's what's companion did. If that's the case, that actually makes the companion cards way better than I thought they were. Hold on. What was the other one that had a companion? So the Gyruda. So it basically adds commander element to standard. You just have a commander sitting on the side the whole time while you're playing standard. That's really cool. That's really cool, not gonna lie. It's the very first auto include in every Izzet deck. Yeah, basically. That's a feels bad then if they're automatically banning it in commander. Just theoretically, if this wasn't commander, this would essentially almost be like a second commander. So like you would have like two partner commanders, and then like this guy would just be a third commander. Like that would be busted. So yeah, okay, I understand why they would auto ban that. It feels bad, man. It feels bad. So I want for Garuda then in command and standard then it would just sit on the side of your deck and you would have an entire deck full of just even CMC cards. And when it ETBs, each player puts the top 4 cards of the library into the grave and you put a okay, yeah. So yeah, that's actually a lot better than I originally thought it was then. Let's continue on then. Let's see. We have Karuga, the Macro Sage, also as companion. It is a 5 CMC legendary dinosaur hippo, 5 power, 4 toughness, for 3 generic and 2 hybrids for green or blue for both. The companion, your starting deck contains only cards with CMC 3 or greater and land cards. I don't think that's that hard to do, to be honest. I don't think that would be that hard to do for a green blue deck to have only 3 CMC or higher cards. I think that's pretty doable. Very easy to do. When Karuga the Macro Sage enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with CMC 3 or greater. I mean, if their deck is only allowed to have CMC or CMC 3 or greater cards in the first place, then like that's gonna be everything you have on the field essentially. That's not a land. The auto is the only one that is banned to command. Oh really? Doesn't count as part of the main deck. In standard, you reveal it from your sideboard. Oh, okay, cool. There are 10 companions and all are legendary. Oh, that's BS then. Lutri is the only companion that's... Oh, that's BS. Of course the one card... Of course the card that's in my colors is the one that's banned. Karuga's still pretty good though. I don't think it... Hold on. Let's take a look at Amori then. Amori the Collector. It's a 4 CMC legendary ooze creature with 4 power, 5 toughness. It costs 2 generic and 2 hybrid of black or green. The companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. Oh. I feel like I don't think you'd be able to play this card in Commander that often. I feel like this would be a very niche card you would play in Commander. Like if you're playing a what's his name? Yeah, like you'd have to playing like an Animar deck or something to take advantage of a Mori. Something like a deck that has like mostly almost entirely just creatures. I feel like that'd be the only way you could use a Mori. Or yeah. As a Mori, the collector enters the battlefield, choose a card type. Spells you cast with the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. Oh. Okay. That's not too bad. And it's in the sideboard too. It's not even in the deck, it's on the side, so you can actually you could even No, I feel like you would have to do a creature-based deck for this to work, because you can't do a control deck with this, because instants and sorceries don't share a card type, and obviously instant sorceries don't share a card type with artifacts or enchantments either. So yeah, you would have to do a creature-based deck. Yeah, no, of course they still have the match the color identity, of course. You also don't have to build with the companion mechanic in mind to play them. It's because the companion mechanic for Lutri is not a restriction commander as where the others ones are. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'd admit, like, from what I can tell, if you want to have it as your companion, you would have to obviously match those requirements. But you can still have it in the deck itself without having the companion stipulation, so that makes sense. Okay, so those are the 3 newest ones. Okay, they only showed 4 companion cards. Well, these are the multicolored cards, so there might be other companions too. Let's take a look at the green cards. We saw this one. Saw Fully Grown. Okay, so these 3 cards. Oh, right here. Titanroth Rex for 7 generic, a green and a green, so 9 mana total. That's a dinosaur beast. It's an 11/11 creature. Trample has a cycling of 1 generic and a green. When you cycle Titanroth Rex, put a trample counter on a target creature you control. Huh. Okay. That's not too bad. I don't think this is gonna see much play in general. If it does, it's probably gonna be exclusively for the cycling, and that's it. Okay, yeah. Next up, we have Bristling Boar. It's a 4 CMC boar creature, have 4 power, 3 toughness. It costs 3 generic and a green. Can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Okay, so it's a fairly standard card. Next up, we have Mosscoat Goriak. It costs 2 generic and a green. It's a beast type. Only has vigilance and is a 2/4 creature, so nothing special about that. Alright, next up, let's look at red. Oh, we got these 2 right here. Oh my god, that felt great. Alright, so we have Drannith Stinger. It is a human wizard, 2/2. Costs 1 generic and a red. Whenever you cycle another card, deals 1 damage to each opponent. And you can cycle it for 1 mana too. That's actually not too bad. I kind of like that they're bringing cycling back too. I feel like this has the potential to be usable in standard. It just depends on what viable cycle cards are in the set. I feel like that's gonna be the biggest factor as to whether or not this is gonna be useful in standard. This is probably not gonna be really used too much in Commander though, just because it only cares about cycling cards. Unless you have like a cycle deck, in which case then it could actually be usable. Next up, we have Cloud Piercer. It's a dinosaur, 5 power. Oh, that alternate card. 4 toughness, costs 4 generic and a red for 5 mana total. Has mutate for 3 generic and a red. Its ability is reach. Whenever the creature mutates, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. So, I mean, for a common, it's not that bad, but it's not the greatest. All right, next up, let's look at black. These are all new, so we'll just go one by one. Oh, we saw Void Beckoner already. We'll take a look at the new ones. All right, we have Grimdancer for 1 black and 2, 1 generic and black. It's a nightmare creature. It's a 3 power, 3 toughness. Grimdancer enters the battlefield with your choice of 2 different counters on it from among Menace, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Whoa! That's actually pretty good. So when it ETBs, or not even when it ETBs, as it enters the battlefield, it comes in with either Menace, Death Touch, or Lifelink, 2 of those abilities. That's actually really good. That's really good. Especially if you have Menace and Death Touch together. Oh my god, they have to block with at least 2 creatures. And you could potentially kill both of them. That's nuts. It's nuts. Imagine if you give this a trample counter on it as well. It can just kill things. Nuts. Oh, actually, green black decks might start having that synergy now, because then if you give a creature with Death Touch a trample counter, that's gross. And then vice versa as well. If you give a green creature with trample a Death Touch counter, equally gross. Yeah, that might actually start being disgusting. If you check out the Commander website, they go into the specifics of the banning of Lutri. Which Commander website are you talking about in specific? Because I'm here thinking like EDH Rec as the Commander website. Are you talking about like the ban list, like the official ban list for Commander? Which site in particular are you talking about? We have next up Zagoth Mamba. It's a 1 CMC 1/1 creature, so 1 black. It's a nightmare snake. Whenever this creature mutates, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. I can see this probably seeing play. If like there's probably gonna be mutate decks coming out, and this will probably definitely see play. I could definitely see that. Easy removal. Next up we have Gloom Pangolin. It is a nightmare pangolin. I don't even know what a pangolin is. It's a 1 power, 5 toughness creature, and it costs 2 generic and a black. It doesn't have an ability. Next up, blue. We have Pollywog Symbiote. Oh, they brought Essence Scatter back. Nice. I'm really glad they brought back Essence Scatter. Oh, mtgcommander.net. Gotcha. Okay. I'll look that up in a second. Pollywog Symbiote. It's a frog, 1 power, 3 toughness, and it costs 1 generic and a blue. Each creature spell you cast costs 1 less to cast if it has mutate. That's actually probably really relevant. I can't speak today. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has mutate, draw a card, then discard a card. This is actually pretty good. I can easily see this being a staple in blue-based mutate decks. Alright, next up we have Riptide Turtle. Costs 1 generic and a blue. Has Flash and Defender, and it's a 0/5. The fact that it has Flash, I feel like is the biggest thing about this. It's just a chump blocker. Alright, next up, white. Last but not least, we have white. So we saw Luminous Broodmoth already. Let's take a look at Huntermaster and... Oh, and we saw Pacifism already. That's just a reprint. So the only new one is Huntermaster Liger. Costs 3 generic and a white. It is a cat creature. And it's 3 power, 4 toughness. It has mutate for 2 generic and a white. It says, whenever this creature mutates, other creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. So, basically, the core concept for this card is that you're gonna have like a mutate deck, okay? And if you have one creature who's already has like a bunch of mutations on it, so it has like 3 or 4 mutations on it, and then you mutate it with Huntermaster Liger. Actually, not even, because Huntermaster Liger, even if Huntermaster Liger is the first mutated card on that creature, okay, it still cares whenever the creature on top is mutated. Period. So even future mutations of that creature will still count towards Huntermaster Liger. That can actually get pretty gross. It kind of depends on the creatures in the deck, of course. And whether I feel like this is more of a card that cares more about like a go wide strategy, obviously. It's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, so we've gone through all of the colors. Let me go ahead and check out what you were talking about, Wildman. MTG Commander.net. Okay. So we have updates and community content. Update banning Lutri the Spell Chaser. We've never banned a card before its street release date, but we feel strongly compelled to do so for Lutri the Spell Chaser. It is a card unlike any other in Magic's history. While we are firm believers in giving cards their opportunity in the format, it's clear that Lutri would be banned almost immediately. It doesn't have an opportunity cost. You don't have to sacrifice a spot in the 100 in order to play it. Oh, really? Oh, that's sick. Meaning, if you have the card and are playing the right colors, you can simply include it. Yeah. It becomes a thing we're not fans of, namely a must-play. A big part of the decision is that we don't want players to acquire the card thinking it might remain legal. There was consideration for letting it loose for a quarter with the likely plan to ban it later just in case it was as bad as we thought, because from where we sit, Lutri is, as a 101 first card, is intensely problematic. In the end, this is a special case, and we think that the conservative approach is the better option. I can understand where they're coming from. I didn't realize it doesn't cost a spot in the deck either. So yeah, that just makes sense. It's too. The fact that it literally just sits outside is basically like a third commander, a second or third commander. Doesn't cost a spot in your deck. You can cast it at any time because it's flash, and you can just copy any instant sorcery in the game. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from now. It's just a free card. It's just a free card on the side of your deck. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from. So I can agree with the decision here. Mutate 2 of them together and get bonkers. Yeah. I feel like mutate can easily become a busted mechanic. It just completely depends on what the abilities are on each of the mutate cards. I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So I would say that out of all of these cards, let's go back to the biggest thing. Out of all these cards, my personal favorites, and this is just my own personal favorites, it's not on what's good or not, whatever. I mean, it is based on what's good, but more so, based on my colors. There we go. My colors, my favorites. My favorite is Vadrot Apex of Thunder, just because I can easily use this in my commander deck. Yeah, Apex of Thunder. The mutate is going to be huge, because it gives whatever creature I'm mutating flying in first strike. On top of, it lets me cast a non-creature CMC of 3 or less from my grave for free without exiling it after it resolves. That's huge. Because think of it like this. I can basically use this to cast Wheel of Fortune from my graveyard for free. And I don't have to exile Wheel of Fortune. It just goes back to my grave. That's what I'm talking about with this type of card. That's how busted this card can easily be in Commander. Commander face cards? What are face cards? I don't know what you mean by face cards. What else? Luminous Broodmoth, I definitely see huge potential of for Commander. So I'm excited about that. I feel like this is easily going to be a really good card in Standard too. Depends on the type of decks that get made, but I can see huge potential for this in Standard too. Next up, let's see. What else? Dorat. I really like Dorat. I think Dorat has huge potential as well. What else? I'm skeptical about a Luna. I'm not really too sure about a Luna. I think those were the main ones that stuck out to me the most. I'm really sad I can't play Lutri Commander. I feel like Lutri would end up becoming a really pricey card because of Commander, because it's just a must-have. If it was legal. I'm gonna buy one just in case they ever decide to unban it. Just in case, just to have on the side. You know what I mean? So I'm still gonna buy one just in case. Yeah, there's not much else that pops out to me for the colors I care about. Yeah, I'd say those are my big winners for my Jeskai colors. Vivien has the potential to be nuts. BioQuartz over here has the potential to be nuts. I'm interested in seeing how well Karuga will do. Yeah, pretty good so far though. Commander 2020 set also comes with Ikoria with the main commanders reveal. Wait, really? Where does it show the revealed commanders for 2020? I'm on Mythic Spoiler right now, and it doesn't show 2020 just yet. Do you have a website to look at for that? Is it also on the same website, MTG Commander? Look it up real quick again. Oh, I think this is it right here. Click for the newest spoilers. Where are you talking about? Click for newest spoilers. Click where for newest spoilers? At the top, under Mythic Spoiler, click on newest spoilers and scroll down. I don't see that option. Oh, newest spoilers. Gotcha. Oh, Sprite Dragon. That's new. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's just a different artwork. Okay, never mind. It's the same card, just different artwork. Commander 2020. Okay, so here we got a new Jeskai Commander too. All right, hold on. Okay, let's blow these up real quick. I'm glad that they're coming back to the three color commanders. 3-color commanders are a lot of fun. All right, so we have the first 3-color commander, Gavi Nest Warden, 5 CMC Jeskai legendary human shaman creature, 2 power, 5 toughness. It costs 2 generic, blue, red, white. And it says you may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token. Ooh. Okay. I can actually easily see this being a pretty decent commander. Just because there's a... what was it? I think it was Almond Cat. Almond Cat came out with a lot of really nice cycle cards to easily support Gavi over here. On top of they're printing a few more new cycle cards in this set too. So I feel like Gavi would actually be a decent commander. I don't think it wouldn't be a broken commander. It would just be a decent commander. I feel like there are some cards in particular from Almond Cat that would make Gavi particularly busted. What is the name? Hold on. I have the card. I forgot the name of it though. I'm just looking it up real quick. There we go. Cards like Nimble Obstructionist. Cards like this from Almond Cat will actually be really busted. Or at least, maybe not really busted, but really strong in a Gavi deck. Because it says you may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn, which includes your opponent's turns too. Okay, so you could cycle on your turn for free once, and then you could cycle on your opponent's turns for free once each opponent. That can be really busted. And imagine cards like Nimble Obstructionist from Almond Cat. Almond Cat had a lot of really good utility cycling cards. So do it on a card like Nimble Obstructionist, where it says when you cycle Nimble Obstructionist, counter target activated or trigger an ability you don't control. So if you have Gavi on the field, you can essentially counter an ability for free with Nimble Obstructionist. That's actually pretty good. That's really strong. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like there's definitely going to be a lot of cards coming from like Almond Cat and stuff that are going to be in this type of deck. On top of, you get to draw a second card. So when you cycle, I mean, depending on what cards, if you have something like some sort of draw card to be able to draw an opponent's turns on top of being able to cycle as well for that second draw, like, is free cat. Like, I feel like Gavi can actually be really good, a really good commander. It helps that these commander decks are also getting 17 new cards total that are commander made and will mostly be made to bolster these mechanics. Yeah, that too. Actually, I might actually pre-order Gavi. So now you can cycle. Wait, so now you can Cyclonic Rift, then pay 0 to Decree of Annihilation. What? Oh. Oh shit, that's true. You can cycle Decree of Annihilation for 0. That's gross. That's actually really gross. Oh my god. For those of you who don't know what Decree of Annihilation is. This is Decree of Annihilation. Alright. It's normally a 10-drop card that exiles all artifacts, creatures, lands, graveyards, and hands from the game. But you can cycle it for 7 to destroy all lands instead. That's gross. So what you're telling me is that I can Cyclonic Rift in my Jeskai deck, and that's dirty. That is so dirty. Oh my god, that's dirty. Alright, I'm getting to I'm getting too excited. Let me move on to the next commander. We have Cathro Aspect Warper. 5 CMC legendary nightmare insect creature. 3 power, 3 toughness. Costs 2 generic, white, black, and green. When it enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on any creature you control if a creature card in your graveyard has flying. Repeat this process for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. Then put a 1/1 counter on Cathro for each counter put on a creature this way. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. This is going to be a disgusting deck. Basically, just shove in as many keywords as you can in this deck, and then when you play this, you can you can put as many of those counters as you want on a bunch of your creatures, and he gets a 1/1 counter on it too. That's disgusting. That's so disgusting. Astral Slide and Astral Drift are great includes. Let me look that card up. I don't know what those are off the top of my head. I'm assuming you're still talking about cycling. Ooh. Whenever you cycle Astral Drift or cycle another card with Astral Drift on the battlefield, you may exile target creature. If you do, it's... I think that's deck dependent. That's like... Astral Drift is deck dependent. What about Astral Slide? Whenever a player cycles a card, you may remove target creature. Oh, it does the same thing. Gotcha. Plus Teferi's protection. Oh, that's true. You still get your land, but they don't. Yeah, that's gross. Actually, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Does Avacyn make just creatures indestructible, or does it make all your permanents indestructible? Which one was it? Was it Angel of Hope? Or was it Guardian Angel? It was him. Other permanents you control have indestructible. Imagine if you have Avacyn on the field, and then you do Cyclonic Rift, and then cycle Decree of Annihilation. You would still keep your lands because they don't get destroyed. Gross. There's a lot of busted potential with Gavi. Is what it looks like. Anyways. Cathro just looks nutty. He just looks like Cathro looks like he'll get out of hand really fast. That's my biggest takeaway right there. Next we have Kalamax. I'm actually excited about this just because I like Teamer and I like Jeskai. He's for 4 CMC. He's a legendary elemental dinosaur. He costs 1 generic, green, blue, red. He's a 4/4 creature. Whenever you cast your first instant spell each turn, if Kalamax's Stormsire is tapped, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Whenever you copy an instant spell, put a 1/1 counter on Kalamax. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That can get crazy fast. Oh my god. You know what would actually work for Kalamax? You make this like a cantrip deck. Okay, so you swing in with Kalamax, okay? They go to block, and then you play a bunch of like pump spells. Okay, a bunch of cantrips, okay? During combat. So stuff that says like target creature gets +3/+3 and trample. Creature gets I don't know, flying or something. Just a bunch of like shenanigans while it's tapped. And since it's tapped, it actually gets copied too. So all your pump spells get copied and it just becomes huge. So imagine a simple like 2 or 3 drop red spell that gives a creature like +3/+3 and trample. Okay, or a green spell that does that. Something simple like that. It gets copied, so it actually gets +6/+6 in trample. And whenever you copy this spell, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So just from a basic card like that, easily make Kalamax an 11/11 creature with trample during that combat phase. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I like the bug. That's my next commander deck. The bug looks like he'll get crazy. Calamax, I feel like, could easily be discussed. Oh! Even better! In Calamax, you can throw in all those cards like Zada. You could throw Zada in the deck too. Hedron Grinder. And there's I think there's one called like Mirror Wing too that's like the same thing. Throwing a bunch of these type of cards in the deck if you're doing like a cantrip style deck. It says whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell that targets only Zada, copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell would target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. Okay. Where's Gabi? Oh, no, not Gabi. Gathril. Okay. No, not my bad. Calamax. Okay. So that will make Calamax bonkers stupid, okay? Because now Zada copies it for each of those creatures, okay? So if you have like 5 creatures on the field, you have 5 creatures, you get 5 copies, okay? Giving Calamax 5+1/+1 counters on top of having one of those copies targeting Calamax. Gross. So gross. That is gross. Jesus. Oh my god, that's gonna... I feel like this will be a really fun deck to make. Not gonna lie. Really fun deck to make. On top of the fact that you have teamer colors. So you have the ramp from the green. You have the control aspect of red-blue. You have the pump spells from red. You have the card draw from blue. You have the unblockable from blue. Like, there's so much potential with this deck. It's nuts. Jesus Christ. Alright, next up, we have Drannith Stinger. 4-drop commander. It's a legendary human soldier. 3 power, 3 toughness. It costs 1 generic, a red, white, and black. It says whenever generic Kudro enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game. Other humans you control get +2/+0. I'm not gonna lie, this just seems like a bad card. This seems really bad. It doesn't seem very good. You're wasting way too much mana to get any value from this. I'm curious to see what other people's thoughts are about this. Why does it specify a commander and not herself? Could they plan a way for the change or add commander during a game or a new sort of partner? Oh, that's true. Wait, is it only the first spell? Oh, whenever you cast your first instant. Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, even then, like, you can easily, like, what you would do in cantrips decks like this, Wildman, is that you would have your creatures in the field, and then before you cast any instant spells, you go to combat first, swing, and then before damage, you cast your first instant spell for that turn. So, still pretty good. On top of the fact that you can still run things like Chaos Warp and use them on an opponent's turn, because it says each turn. So your first instant spell on your opponent's turns too still count towards giving him counters, +1/+1 counters. And if he's tapped, of course, he gets to copy it as well. And assuming you swung on your turn with him, it gets copied. So you get like 2 Chaos Warps for free. So like, it's still the potential to be gross with Calamax. That's true. 2 ramp spells. That is true. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, Calamax has huge potential. I don't like the Mardu one. Agreed. The Mardu, it's just not very good. I feel like you would probably get the most benefit out of Drannith if you were running partner Mardu commanders. That way, at least, you have the potential to get more tokens. So, like, if you have like 2 Mardu commanders, and you've cast each of the 2 twice each, then at the very least, when you cast Drannith, you would get 4 tokens. I feel like that's the best use to use Drannith. I don't think you would actually use Drannith as a commander herself, if that makes sense. Next up, we have Otrimi, the Ever Playful, 6 CMC, legendary Nightmare Beast. It's a 6/6 creature. Costs 3 generic, a black, green, and blue. Has a mutate for 4 CMC, 1 generic, black, green, and blue. Its ability is Trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, return target creature card with mutate from your graveyard to your hand. So this is obviously straight up a mutate deck. Pretty good though. It seems really good. Especially since you can cheat him. Oh shit, I just realized Ultrami is actually going to be busted. Well, a little busted. Just because he can constantly cheat out. He can cheat the command tax. He never has to come in for 6. He would always come in for 4. You would always mutate a creature for 4. And I actually learned something about command tax just the other day, which is where command tax only cares about the number of times you've cast the commander from the command zone. It doesn't, the number of times it's been in and out of the command zone doesn't count. What counts is how many times it's been cast from the command zone. So each time you mutate, for example, doesn't, and let's say the mutated creature that it's attached to dies and it goes back to the command zone, it doesn't actually have a command tax on it. So it wouldn't cost 2 more because you didn't actually cast it from the command zone. You used an ability from the command zone. I learned that just recently. I'm like, oh shit, that's actually really relevant. Oh, is it an alternate cost? Okay. I guess in that case, yeah, then it still would. I guess that would add the question then, would the command text apply to mutate too then? I feel like I would need to see the rules for that. I'm not sure if it applies to mutate or not then, in that case. I want to say yes, but I'm not too sure about that. So, anyways, that's interesting. Yeah, so at the very least, out of the 5 new commanders, Calamax, I feel like Calamax and Gavi. Well, these 3 in general are probably the best in my opinion. I'm not too sure about Ultrami just yet, just because we don't know what type of mutate cards are going to be coming out just yet. So we can't really fully determine the power level of Ultrami, the mutate commander. But these 3 seem to be the strongest. Gavi, I haven't seen. I'd have to look up what type of cycle cards there are out there, but she seems like she can be nutty. She can be actually maybe not nutty, but like I feel like she's gonna be the type of commander that's undervalued by a large portion of players, but and will actually get a lot more value than people expect. Whereas Calamax can be easily he's probably the most straightforward and easily abusable. You apply commander tax with mutate? Okay. That's what that was my hunch, but I wasn't too sure. Anyways, unless there's anything else, I think that's it for the spoilers. And I guess we will take a look at it each time more come out. Each time more spoilers come out. If you look at the legendary bestow creature from the commander set, the bestow cost does get commander text on it. Okay, and because yeah, it would make sense for mutate to get command text on it then. That makes sense. I do know that ninjutsu, so that one legendary creature with ninjutsu, I know command text doesn't apply to that because that's an ability. As well as, what was it? There's that one Bant creature that's really infamous Bance creature that can cheat itself out from the command zone. I know that's an ability too. All right. Well, I'm excited. Oh wait, didn't it say we could pre-order already? Or where did it say that? Pre-order. When would the pre-orders be available? I don't think it's available yet to pre-order. Okay, so we'll just have to wait. Oh, this is on Card Kingdom. Gotcha. Derevi, yes, that's the card, Derevi. All right, well, I think that's gonna be it in terms of the spoilers for today, guys. So what I'm actually gonna do for any of you who are interested in still sticking around and watching the stream, I'm gonna plan. What did someone ping me on Discord? Okay. I'll look at that later. I'm actually gonna end the stream for this in terms of the spoilers real quick, but I'm actually gonna start up a new stream. But I'm gonna stream Resident Evil 2 for anybody who's interested in watching that. I haven't played it before, but I've heard good things about it, so I'm excited. But now I want to build Mardu humans running Bruise, Tarl, and Taima. Oh, gotcha. I kind of want to do some research first for Gavi to see whether or not I would actually want to test out playing Gavi. But I kind of want to make a Column X deck just because I feel like that would be fun. I used to have a Zada deck. Where's Zada? I used to have a Zada deck. So to have another commander similar to Zada, but is more than just mono red, I'm excited about that. Like that opens doors for me. Like I really like that. I really enjoyed Zada, but the fact that she was mono red really held her back in my opinion. Anyways, I'm gonna hop off now. I'm gonna start a new stream in a bit. For those of you interested, maybe in like about 10-20 minutes or so. For those of you interested, I'll probably be streaming Resident Evil 2, but the remake. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys have a great day. If you enjoyed it, please remember to leave a like on the stream as well. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in a bit, hopefully. So, peace out, y'all.